In the heart of the dense Appalachian forest, where ancient trees loomed like titans and shadows danced with sinister intent, an experienced hunter named Jack ventured into the wilderness. He was a seasoned tracker, confident in his skills and familiar with every twist and turn of the forest. But on this fateful day, Jack found himself disoriented, lost in a maze of gnarled branches and shifting shadows. As twilight descended, Jack stumbled upon a dilapidated cabin hidden deep within the woods. Its windows shattered, its walls covered in moss, and the air around it heavy with a sense of foreboding. Ignoring the warning signs, Jack sought refuge within its decaying walls, hoping to find shelter for the night. Inside, the cabin seemed frozen in time, as if it held the secrets of a bygone era. Jack lit a fire, the flames casting eerie shadows across the room. As he settled in, a strange sensation washed over him, a feeling of being watched, of unseen eyes peering from the darkness. Then, from the depths of the forest, Jack heard it. A haunting melody, soft and mournful, like a dirge sung by the spirits of the dead. The sound seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves, drawing closer with each passing moment. Fear gripped Jack's heart as he realized he was not alone in the cabin. Something was lurking in the shadows, something ancient and malevolent, waiting to claim him as its own. Elsewhere in the same forest, another hunter named Sarah embarked on her own solitary expedition. Armed with her bow and arrow, she sought the thrill of the hunt and the solitude of nature. But as night fell, Sarah's peaceful excursion took a dark turn. In the distance, she spotted a figure darting between the trees, a fleeting glimpse of something primal and wild. Intrigued, Sarah followed the mysterious presence deeper into the woods, her senses on high alert. As she pursued her elusive quarry, Sarah stumbled upon a clearing bathed in moonlight. There, standing amidst a circle of ancient stones, was a creature unlike any she had ever seen. A deer with eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. Drawn by both fear and fascination, Sarah approached the creature cautiously, her bow at the ready. But before she could take aim, the deer spoke in a voice that echoed with ancient wisdom. "Leave this place, mortal," it warned, its words carrying a weight of centuries. "You tread on sacred ground where the spirits of the forest hold sway." Undeterred, Sarah pressed forward, determined to prove her worth as a hunter. But the forest had other plans for her, a fate far more sinister than she could have imagined. Deep within the heart of the forest, a third hunter named David found himself ensnared in a web of darkness and despair. Lost and alone, he wandered aimlessly through the tangled undergrowth, his sanity slipping away with each passing moment. Driven by hunger and desperation, David stumbled upon a clearing where a feast awaited him. A banquet of strange fruits and exotic meats laid out upon a table of polished stone. Ignoring the warning bells ringing in his mind, he devoured the food greedily, savoring every morsel. But as he feasted, David felt a change come over him, a creeping sense of dread that coiled like a serpent in his belly. His skin prickled with unseen eyes, and whispers echoed in the recesses of his mind, urging him to flee before it was too late. In a panic, David tried to escape the forest's grasp, but its dark embrace was relentless. Shadows twisted and writhed around him, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to mock his every move. And as the moon reached its zenith, David realized the true horror of his situation. He was trapped in the Whispering Woods, a realm where the line between reality and nightmare blurred beyond recognition. And unless he could find a way to break the curse that bound him, he would be condemned to wander its twisted paths for all eternity. As Jack, Sarah, and David each faced their own horrors within the Whispering Woods, their fates became intertwined in ways they could never have imagined. Jack, still huddled in the decrepit cabin, listened as the haunting melody grew louder, its mournful notes piercing the silence of the night. Shadows danced on the walls, taking on sinister forms that seemed to reach out for him with skeletal fingers. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind, sent shivers down his spine. Outside, Sarah stood in the moonlit clearing, facing the glowing-eyed deer that spoke with the voice of the forest itself. She felt its gaze bore into her soul, a silent judgment of her trespass upon sacred ground. Yet, despite the warning, she refused to turn back, her hunter's pride blinding her to the danger that lurked within the shadows. Meanwhile, David's mind was consumed by madness as he wandered deeper into the heart of the forest. Whispers echoed in his ears, taunting him with promises of salvation and tormenting him with visions of his deepest fears. He stumbled and fell, his senses overwhelmed by the malevolent presence that surrounded him. As the night wore on, the boundaries between reality and nightmare began to blur, and the three hunters found themselves drawn inexorably towards a convergence point, a place where their fates would be decided once and for all. In the darkest hour before dawn, Jack, Sarah, and David found themselves drawn to the same clearing, their paths converging like threads woven by the hands of fate. They stood facing each other, their eyes wide with fear and confusion, their minds clouded by the oppressive weight of the forest's influence. "You should not have come here," a voice echoed from the shadows, resonating with a power that shook the very ground beneath their feet. Before them stood a figure cloaked in darkness, its features obscured by the shifting shadows. It spoke with a voice that seemed to emanate from every corner of the forest, filling the air with a palpable sense of dread. "We are the guardians of this realm," the figure intoned, its words echoing with ancient authority. "You have trespassed upon sacred ground, and for that you must pay the price." With a wave of its hand, the figure summoned forth a horde of twisted creatures, monstrous abominations born from the nightmares of the forest itself. Jack, Sarah, and David fought bravely, their weapons clashing with the creatures' razor-sharp claws and teeth, but it soon became clear that they were hopelessly outnumbered. Just as all seemed lost, a blinding light pierced the darkness, banishing the shadows and driving back the creatures that threatened to consume them. From the heart of the light emerged a figure clad in armor of shimmering silver, a warrior of the ancient order sworn to protect the balance between the mortal realm and the world of spirits. The guardian surveyed the hunters with a mixture of pity and remorse, their struggles laid bare before him like an open wound. "You have been deceived," he declared, his voice ringing with authority. "The Whispering Woods are cursed, a prison for lost souls and wayward wanderers. But there is still hope for those who seek redemption." With a solemn gesture, the guardian revealed the truth of the forest's curse, a curse born of ancient grievances and unspoken sins, a curse that could only be broken by those who were willing to confront their own darkness. Jack, Sarah, and David listened intently as the guardian spoke of trials and tribulations, of trials that would test their courage and resolve. They nodded in silent understanding, their hearts heavy with the weight of their past mistakes. But even as they prepared to face the challenges that lay ahead, a new threat emerged from the depths of the forest, a darkness more insidious than any they had encountered before. As Jack, Sarah, and David ventured deeper into the heart of the Whispering Woods, they became aware of a malevolent presence that watched their every move, a presence that whispered poison into their ears and twisted their thoughts with visions of despair. At first, they dismissed the whispers as the ravings of a troubled mind, but as the days turned to weeks and the weeks to months, they could no longer deny the truth. The unseen enemy sought to divide them, to sow discord and distrust among their ranks, and it was only through the strength of their bond that they were able to resist its insidious influence. But as their journey continued, tensions rose, and old wounds reopened, threatening to tear them apart. Jack's pride clashed with Sarah's stubbornness, while David's paranoia drove a wedge between them. In the end, it was only through sacrifice and selflessness that they were able to overcome their differences and unite against the true enemy that lurked in the shadows.